hello, Vicki Becks. Is it okay for me to call you Vicki or Victoria?
Oh no, just Vicky's fine. My name's not actually Victoria.
Is it not?
No.
Yeah, I'd be very much inclined to call you Victoria if you've been naughty.
I don't know why I'm not Victoria. I think my mum and dad were under the impression if they called me Victoria, I'd get called Vicky anyway.
True. See, because I'm Joshua by birth, I'm Joshua. But people have always called me Josh, but I like my name to be written down as Joshua. It's just one of those things. I don't like my name written down as Josh. But if I'm called Joshua, then I've been very naughty. So we go from there really with the name thing.
Yep.
I've been called many things anyway. So Vicky, it's lovely to hear your voice. It's been quite some time, hasn't it?
It certainly has. Yeah, it's been a strange old time, hasn't it?
It really has. I was thinking the other day when the last show we did, which would have been, well, Christmas, I think.
Yeah, Christmas. So I think, would you have had two by now? At least two that I would have probably.
Yeah, we'd have had at least two shows. Yeah, so it's very sad. But we had the last show in December, didn't we, at Rothwell Parish Church, which was lovely. And thinking about those sorts of times, it makes you all gooey inside. And I hope that we're able to do that again this Christmas. But I'm not so certain. So anyway, more about the future a little bit later on. Vicky, tell us about your past. Where were you born? Where did you grow up? What did you do? Hit me.
Hit you. Okay. So I was born in Kettering.
Yeah.
And I think I lived here for about 2 years and then moved to Glasgow.
Oh.
And I was there for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years, I think. I could be wrong. It was about that. Moved back down to Kettering and went to school. Went to St Edward's Catholic School. Good Catholic girl.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was it. So yeah, loved school, loved primary school, and I've still got friends from there as well, you know, now, which is great. And I still see some of the teachers as well, which is so lovely, and they remember you. How nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's lovely. I mean, I'm still friends with one of my teachers from primary school. I don't know if you know her, Judy Tomlinson. I don't know if you've ever seen. She plays the piano for bel canto and plays a lot of piano for me as well sometimes. She was lovely. Well, she was my teacher in year 4, and I still talk to her now. We went for coffee last week, which was lovely. So it is nice to have to keep in touch with old friends, isn't it?
It really is. And I think, you know, because I loved primary school, I had such a great time. And that, you know, our class that we had, we were one of the lucky ones in that school. We had the best teachers, and we had the same teacher, I think three times. So we had Mrs. Henry, her name was. So any of my friends that are watching this, Mrs. Henry was, sorry to the other teachers, you were all great, but Mrs. Henry was our favourite. And I think because we all loved singing and she played piano.
Oh, wonderful.
So it was a match, yeah, match made in heaven. So she had us in the infant school and then twice in the juniors as well. So for our sins, bless her.
Bless her. So after that then, so after primary school and junior school, where did you go for your secondary education?
So this when it went a bit wrong. I went to Montague.
Okay. Now
loved it.
Academy.
Yes, Clue Academy now. Again, loved school. I loved the social side of school, should we say. And then left there in year 9. So Christmas of year 9, I left there and went to Thomas Becket School in Northampton.
Oh, okay. So quite different schools, really.
Yeah, so Thomas Becket was an upper school as well. So it was year 9 to year 12 or 13. And I didn't know what year 9 was. Back then, I'm a bit old. It was third year seniors. That's what we used to call it.
Yeah,
I was going...
talk of that.
Yeah, and I'm trying to say, Josh.
I'm only
Joshua.
yes, quite. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so I went to year 9, which I didn't understand what it was, and didn't know anybody. Everyone, they dressed differently. So I went from being quite, in the popular crowd, as you are, knowing everybody, to knowing not a soul. It didn't take me long, obviously, because I talk for England, and yeah. So I went there and done my GCSEs at Thomas Becket in Northampton.
Lovely, lovely. So you said you made friends at Thomas Becket as well as at Montague. Do you stay in touch with any of those friends?
Yeah, I'm very lucky. So I do. I've got quite a few friends from both schools that we're still in touch with. I still see. In fact, one of my best friends, I met her in first year of junior school. So what year would that be? 4 or 5? I don't know. Something like that. She was on. Yeah, I'm not sure what. So she came to our school, it's St Edward's School, for not even a year, I don't think. And we stayed in touch ever since. So from the age of 7 to me now being 44, we're still friends.
I would never have said you were 44 years of age, Vicki.
I don't want you to say what you thought I might be.
At least 29. I thought the same age as you, thereabouts,
I'll take that, thank you.
So you still speak to friends then that you made in secondary school, which is lovely, of course. What did you then do after you went to Thomas Becket?
So I went back to Montague, actually, for sixth form.
Wow, so you do get about a bit, don't you, Vicki?
Well, nearly gave the headmaster a heart attack that I wanted to come back. I think the deputy head wasn't best pleased. I'm not going to tell you the reason why I left the school, but I left. But they accepted me back, and I got on very well, doing A levels, loved it, but I wanted money. I wanted a job, I wanted money, so I quit my A levels, not advised for anyone, and I got a job. And that's actually where I met my husband, and we're still together now. So actually, in hindsight, yeah.
Well,
but I was 17.
These things happen for reasons, and the way that things are pan out for us, they are almost written in the stars, so to speak. So you said you left A levels. What was your first job then? What did you go and do?
Well, I had lots of jobs before that, sort of like part-time jobs. I was always brought up to, if you want money, you earn it. But I left to work for a taxi company.
Oh, okay.
I mean, nothing wrong with that at all, but it's not really a career choice, is it? You would think for a young sort of 16, 17-year-old. My dad was not best pleased.
Well, it's not really the sort of environment, is it, for a young girl? It's not really the. I mean, I'd be fretting every time you went to work. I'd be fretting, not because anything bad would have happened to you, of course, but you just don't know, do you, with some of these people about? So.
No, and the thing was, it was decent money, and they wanted me, so I was like, okay. So but do you know what? Actually, I mean, I learned a lot of swear words. I learned a lot about men and how they behave and how they spit their dummy out quite a lot if they don't get their own way.
I have no idea what you mean, Vicki.
I can't imagine you do. Certain men then.
Oh no.
And learned how and I learned how to deal with that, actually, so it was actually a good life lesson, if nothing else. Learned the town, so I know Kettering like the back of my hand, because I had to tell these drivers where to go. And and like I said, met my now husband, and then that's it. Sort of left home, moved in with him, fell pregnant very quickly, which was very scary, at 17 years old, and I had my son at 18.
Oh wow! So there really isn't much time, is there, between you getting your first job from school and then to having being a full-time mother, I suppose, would be quite something, isn't it?
I know, and thinking back now, I was a child. How
Yeah.
did I even cope? But do you know what I did? And I said we're still together 27 and a half years on.
Mm.
God knows how. And my son is actually, he's enrolling into the police in January, so he's done all right. So
Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't all bad. It was scary. It was horrible. It was everything you can imagine a 17, 18-year-old to go through, but
Yeah.
we done
And
it.
I think as well though, Vicky, a lot of my friends and even my brothers have had children now. There's never a right time to have a child, and they always say. I mean, I don't have a child. Obviously, I have a stepson, but they always say that you can never really prepare yourself for a child. There's no manual for being a mother or a father. There's no, good time or bad time. Sometimes these things just happen, and you have to embrace that, which you've obviously done. So well done.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I remember the conversation with my mum, how just she was so upset for me more than anything because she done the same thing. She had me when she was 18.
Yeah.
So not that she obviously doesn't regret it, of course.
Right.
But she knows how hard it was, for obviously back then it was harder, but how hard it was and how tough and what you miss out on as a young girl, what you can do. And I wanted to go on cruise ships and sing and all these silly things I wanted to do, I couldn't do anymore. I had to actually knuckle down, get a job, and we had to work hard and to provide for a child that we had. Yeah. So.
And I do often think I look back to when I was 18 because when I was 18 I moved out of my parents' house, and I thought I'm independent. I can do as I like. I can see my own road in the distance. I can do everything myself. Don't worry about me. And it was the worst thing I ever did was moving out. And I wish I'd stayed a little bit longer. But saying that, I learned a lot from doing that as well. That was 11 years ago now. So yeah, I moved
Yeah, I mean,
in with them a little bit, but you learn a
you
lot
do
from
learn.
doing it.
You do. You grow up quickly, and actually, I've always
Because
been
you have
independent.
to.
Yeah, my mum always said I was always independent from very very young. So I always remember her telling me when I lived in Scotland with her and my gran and everybody that they must have bought me 4 or 5 different potties, but I refused to use them because everyone else was using the toilet. Why am I going to go on a potty in front of people when you're all going to the toilet? So I was around a lot of older people, you see, and I think probably the youngest person was my uncle, who was, I think he's not that much older than me, so probably 9 years older than me or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was very independent from that young. I knew what I wanted to do and what I wanted to be, and I used to go every summer to Scotland and spend away from my mum and dad with my gran and my family. And I kind of course I missed them, but it didn't bother me. That's how I grew up. And
Yeah.
so moving out didn't phase me, so to speak.
So
But obviously,
you said just then that you knew what it was that you wanted to do. What was it that you wanted to do? What have you always wanted to do? Is it the singing on the ships, or is it something else, or has it always been just singing? Is what you've always gone back to doing?
yeah, I mean, I wanted to be on top of the pops, like every young girl wants to be. Then I got sort of my head screwed on a little bit and thought, maybe that's not going to happen. A girl from Kettering. So I then wanted to be a lawyer. That was my choice.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm very good at arguing, and I normally get my own way.
Me too. It's funny you should say that.
Yeah.
Perhaps that's
So
why we haven't had an argument before.
we kind of know. Hang on a minute.
We know.
That's what I wanted to do. That was, I mean, obviously the singing on the cruise ships would have been a year thing to do, a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
But none of it obviously happened. And, but here I am singing with people as lovely as you, which is great,
Right. We'll go on to
I'm not
the
rich.
bit in a moment. So, so you what? what was your longest career throughout? From when you had your son when you were 18, what did you then do in terms of a career to see your young family through and stuff like that?
I worked for a taxi company for a long time.
Oh, for a long time, yeah.
Yeah, I worked there. Oh, I don't even know. Probably. I was still working there when I had my second son.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember. No, I wasn't. I don't even remember. I worked there for, I mean, at least 4 years, 5 years, maybe 4 years. And then I worked weekends there for them. So I had a full-time job. Had a few jobs. I worked for RCI. I think everyone in Kettering's worked there.
My mum did, funnily enough.
It was back in the day, it was such a good place to work though.
Yeah.
It really was a good place to work. Worked at the tax office for a short while.
Yeah.
What else have I done? Worked for a truck rental company. And then when I had my second son, which was year 2000, I was working for BT.
Okay.
I remember. Yeah. So I used to do the, what are they called? The operator and the emergency call handlers for the MOD.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Really exciting job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it really was. It was, I mean, so obviously if used to have to take emergency calls, obviously.
Yeah.
And my first emergency call was an aeroplane was going to crash.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it actually was fine because it comes through on your screen and it tells you what to do. You press the buttons, you ask the right questions, but the thought, that the adrenaline goes through and but that was. Sorry, say that again.
But did the plane crash?
Well, I don't know because you pass it on.
Oh.
So we deal with the initial. You let the fire brigade know on the base and things like that, and then they take over.
Oh.
You kind of put all the things in place.
Yeah.
That's what we used to do. It probably did because when it came through, it was the highest grade, the worst one it could be.
Yeah.
So.
Well, moving on. Moving on.
That downer.
So on that note, so tell me a little bit about your jobs working in the housing sector, because I know that you've been working on quite a few different places, haven't you, and in different roles for the local housing, selling and renting and stuff.
Yeah, so it was after my third son was born, third and final son. Actually,
when is it going to stop? All these kids.
The Von Trapps. So after my third son, I needed a job because don't you? I got made redundant from my job while I was on maternity leave. So when the time came, which was, I saw it come in. I got a part-time job at Wickes actually on Northfield Avenue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and to get me out of the house, and I needed adult conversation.
Yeah.
It was one of those, and then looked for a full-time job while I was working there. I got offered a job at, can't remember the name of the company, and was about to start there. Really, really good job and a really good company, and I fell poorly, fell quite ill, and I had to have a lot of tests done, and I was diagnosed with MS.
Oh, okay.
So I couldn't start that job because at the time I didn't know what was wrong with me. And my eyesight had gone in one eye and there's all these weird things happening. So until they diagnosed me, I didn't know.
Yeah.
So I thought I can't start a job where I can't see first properly.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. Yeah. So I didn't, but again, fate, So, and then I went for a job at a local letting agent and got that. And then I've been in the industry ever since. So that was 2006, 2007.
Okay. Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
I had no idea about about your MS. It's only when you talk to people like this that you find these things out. It's like I've got my condition with my hip, which I spoke to Stephen about when I did this last week. It's what it is. It is what it is. It's what I've got. It's what I've always had. But it's not until you then talk about it and you think, well, actually, I do suffer with this, and I do try and hide it, because it's just nature to do that, isn't it? It's in my nature to do that anyway. So how are you now coping with that and all that sort of stuff? Is it gone? Is it not gone? Is it, you know?
No, it will never go, sadly. But I'm okay, touch wood, you know. I'm on medication, yeah, touch wood. I'm on medication, and it sort of, I mean, we don't know. The trouble is, if you stand 100 people in a line that have all got MS, probably not one of them will have the same symptom as the next person.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and you never know if the medication works. Obviously, there's been trials, and it obviously does do something. But I take the medication, and it's supposed to reduce the amount of relapses you have. So the amount of times that you have an episode or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Relapse is the official word. And actually, I don't know, because I might not have one for 8 years, but I don't know if the medication's doing that, or if it's just, that's my body. You just never know. So it doesn't hurt you to take the
you don't want to risk it, do you, by stopping the medication and then having that relapse, you know?
No, and it's not hurting me to take it. Well, it does. It's an injection. It's horrible, but I mean, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't do anything else to your body.
Well, actually, it does hurt me, but
it does hurt a little bit. But I have to have blood tests every 6 months to make sure my bloods are okay. You know, they just keep an eye on you. And I'm very lucky, and I know my limits now, and I know that if I do too much, I will suffer the next day. And in fact, when I was diagnosed, I remember I joined a gym for the first time in like forever. I thought, right, I'm going to get fit. I'm going to do this. I'm going to start netball again. I mean, all these things. Signed up to the gym, and then I remember being obviously poorly, couldn't do it. And then when I was a bit better, I went to the gym, but it made me really, I felt like I'd done 10 rounds of Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
So some people with MS go to the gym and it makes them feel better and it helps them. Not for me. No. Yeah, and it's weird things like I can't have a bath. So when I say to people, I haven't had a bath for 14 years. I laugh about it.
Well, I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to mention anything before, Vicky, but you know, I wonder why the front row of the audience all moved back.
I just have a row to myself.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because I also haven't had a bath for quite some time. Because I can't get in or out of the bath because of my hip. And also because I'm the size of a whale, you know, there'd be no water left if I got in the bath. But I can't.
Not quite a whale.
Well, not quite a whale, maybe a baby whale. But you know, I prefer a shower anyway. But there's little things like that, you know, that you think, well, I sometimes, only sometimes, I think like, oh, do you know what? I just love a bath, so I go to the swimming pool.
See, it's weird things like that for me. So I can't have I remember having baths and stuff, and I remember this one day having a bath, getting out, and I couldn't dry myself. I just had I felt like my arms, you know, when you get a dead arm when you're a child, you know, that's what my whole body felt like, and I actually couldn't pick the towel up. So I thought, they did say this could happen. And ice skating, the extreme cold or extreme heat. So ice skating, I can be on the ice for about 15 minutes, and then the cold, which would normally not affect you, would it? Like ice skating, but comes up through my feet into my legs, and my legs go really stiff. So it's little things like that that are very annoying. Yeah,
mine's the same with my hip, and I think it is for most people with joint issues, like osteoarthritis or arthritis and stuff like that. Whereas if it's colder, generally speaking, your joints seize up a bit more, you know, and become a little bit more achy. But MS is muscular, isn't it? Am I right in saying so?
Well, not. It's more to do with the nerves. So it's nervous system, but it does affect the muscles. It affects how they behave. Yes. So yes, you know, it's all to do with the spinal cord. And I mean, I didn't know. Obviously, I didn't know what MS was. You don't know, do you, until someone's got it. But actually, so your spinal cord, and you've got all these things coming off of your spinal cord. Okay, the technical word, I just don't know what it is. And you've got something that goes around it. So imagine like, excuse me, a kettle wire. You've got the plastic around the actual wires, haven't you? You know what I'm talking about. So that's called myelin. So that gets damaged with MS.
Right. Okay.
So if you have a relapse, that gets damaged. So the messages don't get to the body the way they should.
Yeah.
But it can repair itself very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't repair itself at all. And that's when people are left with, I could literally, again, touch wood, wake up tomorrow morning, not be able to walk.
Yeah.
But then I might be able to walk again in a year.
Yeah.
It's very strange, you know.
And so,
but,
have you been part of any like local MS groups? Is there anything on Facebook about MS or like, you know, support groups and stuff?
There's loads of support out there if you want it. I'm very stubborn. I can do this myself. I'm okay. I'll just, you know. And actually, I've got a
when you're
massive
16
family.
and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I can handle it. I've got a very, very good support network around me. You know, my family are huge, and that we're all very close.
Yeah.
And if I needed it, I know it's there. My MS nurse is fantastic. If I need her, it's a call away.
Yeah.
And so I'm okay with that. When the time comes and I do need it, I will reach out. I'm not scared to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm also not scared if anyone has the condition and doesn't know how to handle it, or doesn't know, or how do I deal with it mentally, if nothing else, you know. If you want to contact me, by all means do it, you know. And I'll tell you to push on through. No, I won't tell you to push on through.
Right. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about your singing, shall we, Vicki? This is how we know each other. Explain to me a little bit, because you've not really mentioned much about singing throughout your life and your career. Where does that fit in?
So my gran was a singer. She was a singer in Glasgow around the club, very well known on the club scene.
Oh, okay.
Amazing entertainer. I mean, to watch her, she held a crowd, you know, it's with ease. It was brilliant to watch.
Yeah.
And my papa was a drummer, so they would have like band rehearsals in the house. So now I obviously seen this. I don't remember these, but I must have been there when they had these sessions and when they had these things. So music was always around me. My mum loves music. My mum can sing as well.
Really?
My dad can't, but my dad loves music.
Now look at my dad. Nor can my mum. I mean, goodness me, don't get my mum singing.
Oh, really?
The last time she sang, we were in Corfu, and it was a karaoke night, and she chose the song "My Heart Will Go On," Celine Dion. You know, the song
Why
of
not?
all songs. And all of I never knew Corfu had so many cats, because they came from everywhere. And oh my God, it was dreadful. It was really quite something. I was only very young, and I thought, oh, here we go. So
She's gonna love you for this.
She knows my opinion of her singing. Unfortunately, I definitely don't get it from that side, from mum or dad.
Oh wow.
So your parents love. So your mum loves music. Your dad loves music, but not very good at music.
He can sing along. He can sing in the bathroom, like, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, music was always around me, you know. And yeah, sorry, that was my front door. Someone's at my front door, but it's fine. So, and also in our family, we had parties for everything. Yeah. Any occasion, there was a party.
Okay.
Being Scottish, and then my other side is Italian, so they're massive family gatherings. But the Scottish side was the singing side.
Yeah.
So sorry, I'm just looking. I'm going to vibrate again in a minute. My phone. Everyone had to get up and do a turn at a party. Everyone gets up and they do a song. My dad would never get up and do a song, so I would have to get up and do the song. And that was it. It was just normal. You know, I would be the show off that I am, get up and just sing a song, and off I go and play again. Yeah. And then at the age of 3, I joined a theatre group, and I was there till I was probably about 14.
Yeah.
Kettering Youth Theatre Group, I think it was called.
Okay. Yeah.
I can't actually remember. That's really bad that I don't remember the name of it. It's still going now, I think. I'm sure it is. Yeah. So I was part of that for a good while, and I learned a lot, you know, through that.
Yeah.
And that was it. But it wasn't till I was about 17 that I actually started enjoying it and thinking, maybe, you know, I could do this a little, you know, do this. And it was actually Celine Dion, but it was Think Twice.
Oh.
when karaoke first came, you know, to the sort of Kettering, and there was a karaoke at Rock and Bowl, and I used to work there. Oh, I forgot I worked there as well for a little while. Add that to the list. And they had a karaoke night, so I wanted to learn Think Twice and the big note in it. So me and my friend Leanne, we were stood in my living room, and there's me over and over and over and over trying to get this big note. The poor girl just sat there and, you know, no, try again. Went to karaoke. When it got to the big note, I went like this to the microphone and pulled it away.
Oh, no.
But, you know, that song, actually, I was like, actually, I can sing these high notes. I can sing these big songs. So every song she...
At one of the shows, haven't you?
No.
Think Twice. Oh, have you not?
No, I've never sung it. I mean, maybe put it on the list the next time.
Make a note of that.
So yeah, that was the first one I'd done properly. And then every song she released, I tried to sing.
Yeah.
It was like a, you know, let me try and, obviously not match her, it's impossible, but try and get those big notes, try and learn, and that's it.
And I think it helps because you have got such a powerful voice. You know, you don't necessarily need a microphone in front of you to be heard. A little bit like myself, really. So you have to sometimes, these big songs are written for people like you and I, who can sing them. But also it's nice to be able to sing the quieter songs and the more emotional songs that really tether on people's, you know, emotions, and pull on the heartstrings, so to speak. And I think for me, one of the most memorable gigs, if you'd like to call it, with yourself was when we did we've done quite a few duets now, haven't we? But the most recent one we did, which was, I'm terrible, aren't I, with word? You know which one it is.
Go on then.
You know the one.
You Are the Reason.
That's the one. I am the reason. I am the reason. My memory is so bad.
I think it's called The Reason. I think actually, yeah.
Yeah, and that was just lovely. I really enjoyed that because that was completely out of our comfort zone, really. And yes, it was quite enjoyable. But you have such a lovely, distinctive tone to your voice, and it's you are very lucky, and it's lovely to listen to you sing all the time as well. So thank you very much for gracing us with your voice, I suppose, in the show. Because I think the first time I met you, I think was at the parish church when Starlight had something on in the church. Do you remember? And you came up to me at the back and said, how does it sound, you know, volume-wise and stuff. And I said, yeah, good, yeah. And I think it was then that I first heard you singing, actually, which was a fair few years ago now, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, I mean, I don't know how many years ago that was. 7? Maybe?
Maybe even more. Maybe even more. So are you still doing stuff with Starlight?
Yeah, well, obviously I haven't seen any of the students since, beginning of March? Yeah. They've actually luckily reopened. Their dance classes are back up and running, which is fantastic for the school, for the business, for the children.
Yes, of course.
You know, I mean, some of the videos they were sending in and some of the messages, they were just, you know, they're not at school and they're not doing the thing they love. It was so sad. And obviously, you know, we didn't want the business to suffer any more than it, you know, well, we wanted it to open as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So luckily they've been able to open and it's flourishing again, but we can't sing yet. So the musical theatre class that I help with, we can't, there's no point in being there at the minute because they're not singing. So, yeah.
How have you found this whole lockdown situation? How has it affected you in any way, you know, in terms of, well, obviously your job, and obviously the singing aspect to it? You know, it's a massive release for most artists and performers to be able to sing, not just, you know, in front of a few people, but just to sing. It's a release for most, isn't it?
Yeah. I handed my notice in at my job on the 24th of February, and I was due to start a new job on the 25th of March.
Okay. Wow.
Timing. Yeah. So obviously that didn't happen. So I actually didn't work from the 25th of February until I started on the 1st of July.
Wow.
So I was off for a long time. It was a long time. But actually, I was able to recharge. I was able to just enjoy and, you know, spend time with my son, because he just dealt with it. He's great. You know, he's 14, but he missed his friends. He missed school. He, you know, talking to people, seeing people. But I was actually okay. It was one of my friends that said, why don't you sing a song and put it on Facebook? And I'm so stupid. Why would I do that for? No, really, you should. No. And then my son plays football. The football coach said, can you sing a song and put it on the group for us? And I was like, that was so stupid. No, I'm not doing that. So anyway, I done it. And then VE Day, I sang a couple of songs in the street. Neighbours bullied me into it.
On Facebook, yes.
Yeah. Bullied me into it. Sorry, that one, please. And from then I was like, well, let's just put a song on. And actually, the amount of people that commented saying, you know, you've made my day. That was so lovely. Please do more. And then requests were coming in. I thought, this is a bit mad, actually. So I've just kept doing it. And if it makes one person smile, then do you know what? That's fine. If you don't like it, don't watch it. I'm not going to be offended. You know, whatever.
You made me smile.
Thank you. Not laugh.
No, not laugh. We did a few duets as well, didn't we, over the duration of the lockdown period, over this app, which was quite nice again, because obviously we haven't sung together since Christmas, and so it's quite nice to do something a bit refreshing and something a little bit different as well, wasn't it? You know, so it
was really good. I was able to sing with my friend who I sing in a band with, but she lives in Redditch. So that app enabled us to sing. Yeah. We had gigs lined up. I had solo gigs lined up as well, which I'd never done before, but had a few booked. So we missed being in a band together, you know, and then we found this app. We done a song. It took a lot of practice to try and get it, you know, because you're in different parts of the country. But one of them we put on some website. I think you were on it. It was on website, and it had something like 18,000 likes or.
Wow.
It went crazy. People in America, people in Australia, Canada. Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, it just goes to show, doesn't it? And I think one thing out of all of this is what we're doing now. You know, it's these things through media, through social media, through the computer, through Zoom, all that sort of thing. It allows you to connect to people that you know. But also people that you don't know, and people that you've never heard or seen, and people that have never heard or have seen you or I before. I mean, I've done these lives as well through Facebook, you know, and raise money and stuff for charities, because it gives me a purpose. But I get messages from people from, like you said, from Spain, Canada, Australia, India, Brazil, America, and you know that would have cost thousands and thousands of pounds to have travelled to all them places to sing. You know, and also the amount of organising it would do to get to them places to sing, just for that one or two people to hear you. You know, it wouldn't happen. So actually, this platform is quite good for us singers, but of course, there's nothing like singing in front of a live audience, is there?
No, and I think every singer. Now, I don't think you'll correct me, because I think we've all got it in us. You know, you love the applause. You crave. It's not you crave attention. It's not that. It's more. I feed off of it, you know. So if I'm always get very nervous, very very nervous, and as soon as I get going, I look at a few people, and if I see they're kind of enjoying it and they clap, and actually clap because they want to clap, not because they have to clap, I think, oh, all right then, and then I'll do another one, you know. And then so you need that audience participation. In fact, someone that I performed with before, he's a seasoned performer. He's been doing it for years. He's unbelievable, singer and a comedian. He's very funny. His name's Mark Bolton. Follow him on Facebook. He's unbelievable. And I was lucky enough to do an hour, like a half an hour slot during one of his shows in Kettering, because I didn't want to do a whole show myself. I was too scared. So he hadn't done a live video, and I thought, why has he not done one? He's amazing. And he's friends with, you know, Sam Bailey, who won X Factor.
Ah, yes, yeah.
So I was watching her live videos during lockdown. She's still doing them now. They were hilarious. And she was doing her live videos and singing, and she kept mentioning Mark. Now, Mark's one of her backing singers.
Ah, okay.
So she kept saying every time, Mark, you need to do a live. But he is a comedian. So for him, he couldn't do a live a live just singing, because he doesn't just sing. He does impersonations. He feeds off the audience. And I think even a singer, just a straight singer like you or I, you need that. And you miss it. You do miss it.
And I think it's almost like when you have a job, when you have a job and you work so hard doing a task or numerous tasks, and your manager comes up to you or somebody comes up to you and says, "That's brilliant. You've done wonderful. Thank you so much. Brilliant." You're like, "Oh, I'm good. I'm glad you like it." And it just shows that you're doing something good. And I think having audience recognition through applause or cheering is just the same, because there is no other way. There is no, you don't get somebody knocking on your door saying, "I think you're doing a wonderful job. Your voice sounds wonderful in the bathroom." You don't get that.
No.
So the recognition that we get at the audience is months and months of preparation that we've put in place, and the rehearsals and all that sort of stuff. And it boils down to it being, yes, one, a financial reward, depending on what it is that you're doing, but also the audience clapping and the cheering and the comments afterwards. They mean more than anything, really, don't they?
Yeah, and I'm not very good at taking compliments. I'm not. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not. Thanks, thanks. And when people come up to you afterwards, and I love that people do it. Oh, you've got a lovely voice, or oh, that was, and I just go, "Thanks very much." And you don't want to come across as like not grateful, because I really, really am, but I don't know how to react. What do you say? Yeah, I know. Thanks.
You say, "Oh,
you so much.
I'm okay." I do. I'm exactly the same, and I think a lot of people who perform are like that. It's just the way it's, and I don't know why. I don't know why it happens, but a lot of people are the same, and I think it's the case of when you listen to yourself. If you hear yourself speaking as well, if you hear yourself speaking on the telephone, you listen back and you're thinking, "Oh, is that how I sound? Is that how my voice is?" So I think it's built into us to always be quite negative, or to pick apart everything that we do or say, especially when our voices are our voices. There's only so much one can do to our voice to alter it. It is what it is. Harness that and adapt it, and change it the way that you want to change it. But it will always stay the same. It will never really change a great deal amount, So I think we're all built to do that. But I'm the same. People come up to me and they're like, "Oh, brilliant, wonderful." I'm like, "Thank you ever so much. Thank you ever so much. Thank you ever so much. Oh, thank you ever so much. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm glad you enjoy it. Thank you so much." And you're thinking, "Oh, I don't know what to say." But yeah, you just have to be gracious, and you just have to say thank you ever so much. And they mean it. They don't have to say "well done" or "it was very good, well done." Then you have to take that on board and store it away.
Yeah, and it's when I think I get home that I think, "Oh, actually, so many people came up afterwards. That was really nice." And like you said, they don't have to do it. And then I panic. Oh, did I just go, or did I actually say "thank you very much"? Thank you. I hope I do that. So if I haven't ever done that to you, I'm so sorry. The worst thing is big-headed.
Well, no, quite. But my head's quite big anyway. Look at the size of it. What does the future hold for you, Vicki? What are your plans for the next 6 months, I suppose?
Not a lot. Obviously, I've started a new job, so I'm finding my feet with that in that company. I've done the role for a long time. It just finds my way in this company, and I've started selling some. Can I say it on here?
Oh yes, you've got your body shop. You started body shop, isn't it?
Yeah, I started that during lockdown, so that's keeping me busy, it's really good, and the stuff is amazing.
Yeah. How's that going? Is it busy? Are you getting people through?
Oh my goodness, I cannot tell you. I hadn't used Body Shop since I was at school. Okay, forgotten all about it. Didn't really use it when I was a child, other than the Dewberry and the White Musk perfume that every girl had at my age when I was 14. My sister gave me a couple of things to try. I tried it, so it's quite nice. And then, because I didn't have a job, I thought, okay, well, I can earn some money and I get free products. Why not?
Yeah.
If all else fails, at least I've got loads of free products.
And you'll smell nice.
And,
You haven't had a bath
and
for
I'll
14
smell,
years.
yeah, exactly. Mask it the way I can. And actually, I put my group together, and my first order, I think within 4 days, I'd hit all the targets you're supposed to hit in 2 months.
That's brilliant.
Or a month, I'm not sure, but you don't have to hit them. It's just there's an incentive, you know.
Yeah.
And I've just carried on, and I can do it around my job. It doesn't affect my job, you know, and yeah, so I'm still doing that and loving it. And actually, my skin's better, my hair's better, my son's skin's better, so it's good, yeah. So that's keeping me busy, and that's, you know, only going to get busier, obviously, with Christmas coming up.
Yes.
And I've got a lot of birthdays and things, and my mum's been in hospital, so I'm dying to see her, but she's obviously had to isolate for 2 weeks from coming out. So, you know, it's just family time. That's what I'm looking forward to as soon as we can.
Yeah.
You know, we're being Italian and whatever, you kind of, family is very, so I mean, I think a lot of people are, but for us it's, you know, you're spending the time together, there's 15 of you around a table that seats 6, you know, that kind of thing. And I miss that. I really do miss that. So I really hope we're all
I miss the social. It's the social thing, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I've seen a few friends recently and things like that, which has been lovely. But I would love to go to my mum and dad's, and my brothers, my sisters, their children, and, you know, whatever, all be there eating dinner. But we can't just yet, and it's just a bit hard. I just, like you, I hope at Christmas, for the music side of it, and for just the, you know, the personal side of it, it's all back to normal, or some kind of normality anyway.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. We can, but, you know, keep our fingers crossed, and hope for the best at Christmas time, and hopefully we can invite you back to the Christmas show that we had last year, which seems so strange to be talking about.
I know.
You know, it doesn't. If it does go ahead, to have the concert back in that church, it will be the strangest of feelings to know that that was the last time we were there. And actually, you know, this process has been quite long, being in lockdown, but it's also, you look back and you think, 5 months, really?
Yeah.
You know, and you're thinking, oh, how much longer can it go on for? You know, so.
But it actually has sadly become normal, hasn't it?
It has.
But that's, you know, we all have to find our new normal, of what I call it, whatever that may be, you know. And when the government decide to make their mind up.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever find a new normal, Vicky. I don't think I even know what normal is.
That doesn't surprise me.
Oh, I know it doesn't, you know, but there we go. Anyway, Vicky, thank you ever so much for joining me this evening. Thank you for sharing some stories about your life. And you have the most wonderful voice and wonderful personality. And I wish you all the very best. And thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Right back at you. And thank you very much for asking me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.